You know how everything's a subscription now? Music, movies, even socks. I swear if it...
To continue this ad, please upgrade to Premium Plus Platinum.
What? No. Anyway, Blue Apron...
This is a pay-per-listen ad. Please confirm your billing.
Oh, that's annoying. At least with the new Blue Apron, there's no subscription needed. Get delicious meals delivered without the weekly plan.
Wait, no subscription?
Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Hello, listener. This is producer Jeffrey. Step into my time machine. Long ago, beginning in the ancient past of 2009, we made a show called Our Fair City. Now, Our Fair City is a sprawling, epic story set in the dystopian future of Hartford, Connecticut. A climate disaster made the world outside a frozen wasteland. What remains of humanity lives inside in a largely subterranean city governed by the remains of an insurance company. Now, Our Fair City is darkly funny. You'll meet mad scientists, lightning riggers, the woken dead, giant ants, time travelers, and mole people. We are currently re-releasing Our Fair City weekly, so this is a great time to join us for a romp through the tunnels of HartLife. After today's episode, we'll be sharing a trailer for the show. I hope you'll check it out, and I would love you to join us in our listen of Our Fair City, found wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Hello, Eleanor here, and I am here to talk about the wonderful new fiction podcast, 2000 and Late. 2000 and Late is a new fiction podcast from the creator of The Bright Sessions. It is a dark comedy that grapples with the havoc of our current moment and tries to find the hope inside of it. The show follows Harper, a 36-year-old nihilist whose life is upended when she's possessed by a demon hell-bent on bringing about the apocalypse. But Harper doesn't want to end the world, and the demon gives her more power than she's ever had in a very long time. So, yeah. I'm loving this show. It's sharp and funny, and it's a cathartic release from the anger and impotence I often feel about the dumpster fire of a world we are all living in these days. It's unapologetically angry, surprisingly tender, and deeply entertaining. I think that 2000 and Late is ideal for fans of Fleabag or Killing Eve, Jennifer's Body, Yellow Jackets, Venom. So, yeah, let's go create some havoc. Oh, and also, Jeffrey worked on this. Jeffrey is the sound designer, and that's also really cool. So please go check out 2000 and Late wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, Jeffrey here. We've got something really exciting for you today. 2 interviews with artists from Unwell talking about how we make audio. These are sourced from John Bartman's fantastic podcast, How I Make Music, where John interviews composers and artists who make music for audio fiction. The first is an interview with longtime HartLife NFP artist Stephen Poon on his work on the Unwell theme. After the break, we'll also be sharing an interview John recorded with me about composing for installations and for one of my other podcasts, The Museum at Tomorrow. You can hear more episodes of John's podcast at howimakemusic.com. You can also get access to live streams, editing tutorials, and 58 extra episodes of the show through the How I Make Music Patreon. So, sit back and listen to how some of the Unwell team make music.
Strings that play under the melody.
Post-rock and historical audio drama.
You look like a celery, soda, light and crispy, and oh so tasty.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is the Unwell closing theme. Today, we'll break it down and get into why and how it was made. You're listening to How I Make Music, where behind-the-scenes musicians get to tell their own stories. We break apart a song, soundtrack, or composition and get into the insights into how it was made. My name is Stephen Poon. I'm a composer based in Chicago, USA, and this is How I Make Music. Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode 81, the Unwell closing theme, by me, Stephen Poon. Thanks for listening in.
Dorothy.
Dottie.
Son of a bitch.
Unwell is a Midwestern Gothic mystery. It's about a young woman returning to her hometown, the fictional place of Mount Absalom, Ohio, where everything is a bit more spooky than it seems at first.
What are you doing out here?
I was on my way home and... Where are we?
Highway 5, out of town.
Must have got turned around. Welcome home!
Sure. Home.
I'm from Ohio. In the rural Ohio, we have a lot of Mennonites, which are like Amish people. They don't use a lot of technology. Like it's kind of anathema. When I'm driving, there's some stops where you might actually run into a horse and buggy. There are some religious communities that don't make use of modern technology. So it was really at the forefront of my mind going into this setting to not include a lot of synth and digitized music. There are loads of real, actual instruments in the track, and to be able to go into the studio with half a dozen musicians was really rewarding. Take a listen to this. Not a guitar, it's not a mandolin, it's a charango. It's one of a number of instruments that we recorded live for the Unwell theme. The charango is a Peruvian stringed instrument. It's 10-stringed, and traditionally it was made from an armadillo shell. But this was an instrument that I had found when I was in Peru for my honeymoon, and I found a luthier who was making these instruments. You could still smell the sawdust in the air of his shop, and he didn't even speak English, so I think it was his daughter who was translating. Really took to it. I thought it was a beautiful sounding instrument. And so this was a melody that I had been picking around on the instrument, and it got stuck in my head so bad that I'm like, this has to go somewhere. I've had a lot of influence when it comes to music over the years. So here's like a few things that came to mind as this track came together. First and foremost was the Chieftains. I really like Irish session music. There's really this tone of freedom and playfulness that comes from it. I had recently been watching Deadwood. So the Deadwood soundtrack by David Schwartz, that opening theme, was also in my mind. I've always had a lot of inspiration from specifically Japanese RPG soundtracks to music from the late 80s or early 90s. There's not a lot of samples going into these songs. Very simple melodies that can very easily get stuck in your head. Because you're only working, especially with the original Nintendo, there are only like 4 different samples that you could really fit in a cartridge. I don't really want to go too deep into this because it's not a common game. It's like literally a visual novel that's a spin-off of an RPG that was released in the 90s. We can get into that. I just feel like it might be a little obscure.
Loyal Policies, welcome to our fair city. My name is Jeffrey Gardner. I'm HartLife's executive producer.
Jeffrey Nils Gardner was involved with this music and really all of the music of Unwell too. When they were working on an older project, Our Fair City, there was no music. And I approached them and said, hey, would you like a theme song?
Out here in the ruins of old New...
And then when Unwell started, it was kind of a natural progression of this collaboration.
A bitter wind tears across the tundra, friendless and spiteful, until it breaks against the side of a monolithic structure.
We were recording on a college campus because that's where Jeffrey was doing their masters at the time. Going into recording, I didn't know who was going to be there. It was my first time in this space. And so walking in, we're setting up the studio. No one else is there. It's me, the recording engineer, wrangling cable. I'm a little anxious because there's a lot of unknown going into the studio like that. So we walk in, and all you can really hear is the sound of cable being laid on the floor. And, and your heartbeat. The others arrived and we began recording. We stomped the floor to get this rustic boot stomping sound. So the boot stomps were really important. It really is a form of punctuation at the very start. I really wanted something that could maybe slightly startle the listener. After that, we wanted to include even more percussion, particularly a little bit of hand percussion on top of the boot stomps. So we threw in egg shakers because they just happened to be in my guitar bag to add a little bit of texture to that percussion. The next is banjo. And that's Gunnar Jebsen. And we gave him a lot of freedom to really do whatever he wanted on top of the melody. We also had Lauren Kelly, a multi-instrumentalist. We started her on guitar. And then we went in and did some individual tracks with her playing cello. We brought in Travis Elfers to do viola. I really wanted to have strings on this and was glad that we were able to have that for the Unwell theme. In the middle of the track, you hear this slightly dissonant voice come in. And that's Betsy Palmer. You can give her anything and she will internalize it and sing it. It's a lot of fun to work with her. I played guitar on the track, which is the first strum you hear at the start. Mel Reuter isn't just a recording engineer on the show. Mel Reuter is the recording engineer on the show and is most often present for the episode recording. They came in and did some additional hand percussion for this track. So when season 1 of Unwell was being put together, we knew what songs we wanted to include for the entire season. Including an episode with a celery festival that has a jingle writing contest. So I was writing music for groups of musicians that were playing a folk song,
Climbing those vines to look down below.
A punk rock song, even a kind of a barbershop quartet for a jingle.
Look like a celery soda, light and crispy, and oh so tasty.
I wasn't in a space where I was just thinking of one particular genre of music. It was all over the place.
Mount Absalom, Ohio.
It was really creatively satisfying. So as we were putting together all of the tracks for season 1, I wanted to do a very short kind of stinger intro piece. That would kick off every episode. And the closing theme would start out with this mirror of that stinger. So it opens with this doo-doo-doo, simple 3-note descending melody. And the stinger is a 3-note ascending melody which really just bookends every episode as a whole. We used multiple microphones to record each instrument. And so we wanted to be able to use both of those sources, mix them together. Let me show you what I mean. Here's what a guitar sounds like with multiple microphones. Here's just pointed at the neck. Now here's the microphone on the body. Here's how the charango sounds at the neck. The body. There's a moment in season 1 featuring a composition by a fictional songwriter, Rusty Standish. The script originally described this song as Nick Drake after a few cocktails and a long walk home. Let's take a listen.
I lost every word that
So that was a really fun descriptor to try to work with, especially because I'd never listened to Nick Drake before. So I took an afternoon, sat down, had a drink, and just listened.
Carve my heart in the side.
To like 3 hours of music. I wrote, played guitar, and sang on the track.
Winds and waterfalls, landslides. So I'm standing at your door. I couldn't say what the knob is for.
And that's it for this episode. We'll listen to the full track in just a moment, but before that, thank you for listening to How I Make Music. Catch new episodes every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, or any other platform you prefer. We've been listening to music featured in the Midwestern Gothic mystery drama Unwell. To hear the full story or to check out my other compositions, follow the links in the show notes. Visit howimakemusic.com for bonus behind-the-scenes stuff related to this episode. Check out what's on offer at patreon.com/howimakemusic. How I Make Music is created by John Bartman. And now, here's the Unwell closing theme in its entirety. I'm Stephen Poon, and thanks for listening to How I Make Music.
Strings that play under the melody.
Post-rock and historical audio drama.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into, from chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredeliaQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.
Strings that play under the melody.
Post-rock and historical audio drama.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called 5:23 a.m. It's an instrumental track used in the Museum at Tomorrow, an abstract audio fiction collage miniseries. Today we'll break it down and experience why and how it was made. You're listening to How I Make Music, where behind-the-scenes musicians get to tell their own stories. My name is Jeffrey Nils Gardner. I'm a sound artist, director, and designer from Chicago, Illinois, and this is How I Make Music. Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode 78, 5:23 a.m. by me, Jeffrey Nils Gardner. Thanks for listening in.
In the studio, and if I woke up and I was alone in the house, and it happened all the time, I'd wake up and I'd be alone in the house, and I would just freak out.
My name's Jeffrey Nils Gardner, audio artist based out of Chicago, Illinois. The piece I'll be talking about today is from the Museum at Tomorrow, an audio fiction miniseries.
And bang on the studio door because it was locked. I was locked away from her.
I'm standing in front of a massive frame.
For each episode, I write out what I call a beat script, laying out each moment of the show.
For 7 days in a row, and it's hot and sticky, and it hasn't rained in like 2 straight weeks.
I walk out into the hallway.
And then I conduct interviews with friends or colleagues or interesting people I run into, along with music and other audio elements to fill in that beat script.
Another painting. This one too is set in the ruins of an ancient civilization.
We create this collage that tells a story in a very different way.
I close my eyes.
And I'm not very good at being alone.
I've been playing violin since I was 6 years old. This instrument was actually my great-grandmother's. I have a very sharp memory of, as a very small child, finding this instrument in my grandparents' attic. And that was how I went down the path of becoming a violin player. Disorientation is what I would say one of the main goals of the piece. Kind of like with a magic eye puzzle, if you unfocus your ears and kind of let them follow where they want to go in the overlapping sounds, I find that the listener often creates a fascinating story alongside the narrative that I'm telling.
God is not yet. God is an incredible piece of wood. God is, and he lives in his own private Idaho.
Adds a kind of certain element of chaos. So 5:23 a.m. was originally a part of an 8-channel sound installation. This installation toured both to Burning Man and also around Chicago. The experience is you walk into this octagon and close it behind you and lay in the space and are surrounded by this huge number of speakers, and the walls block out the city around you. And so you're hearing this fascinating array of experimental music in multi-channel sound, and you just see the sky. Airplanes crossing your sphere of vision. Laying in the octagon, it really effectively blocks out the city, which is not something that we get to do very often here in Chicago. It's a cool installation. Pauline Oliveros is a big influence for me, and you can hear some of her work with the Deep Listening Band. Take a quick listen. One of the other really interesting things that Oliveros has done is create these text scores that would stand in for a musically notated score. A text score is a set of instructions for creating a piece of music. Something like, find an object in the room, begin manipulating it to find a sound that interests you, make that noise for 5 minutes, the piece ends. John Cage also works extensively in text scores. Pretty fascinating. He calls them, without prevarication, music. I think he would be deeply offended to hear them not described as music, so I will try not to. What you're hearing now is one interpretation of John Cage's A Dip in the Lake. And I want to be really explicit. This is challenging, strange art. And that is totally okay. And it doesn't have to be for everyone. I recorded the material for 5:23 a.m. while I was in grad school at Northwestern University. I woke up very early in the morning, went down to the studio. I set up an array of these 8 mics scattered throughout this large open studio, facing different ways. I began to improvise. I wandered around the space, playing often long, slow tones. I spent a little bit of time dancing to the music I was playing in a way that I think is only possible when you're the only person in the studio and in the building at 6 a.m. And just really letting myself be unself-conscious about the sounds I was creating. I also spent some time trying to make really ugly or strange sounds with the instrument. The result was 8 tracks of randomly spatialized and slightly off-timed violin improvisation. My first step was to open up Reaper and drop these tracks in and just really kind of randomly rearrange them, offset them, by 1 to 3 to 5 seconds, and then just play that and listen for moments of synchronicity that emerged from the experience of this kind of random creation. I mixed this piece ambisonically, which is a way of fully capturing the 3D space. Now, of course, you're not playing it back on a multi-speaker ambisonic setup. So it was mixed down to binaural, which is a stereo format 3D experience. The human body generally has 2 ears. Our brains are able to interpret so much more information than that. We're able to tell if something is in front of us, if it is above us or below us, if it is behind us. Your brain is constantly doing this immensely complicated math based on how sound is reflecting off the folds of your ears, how it's being shadowed by your head, and that's telling you if something is below you, if it's above you. Binaural and ambisonic are ways of capturing and replaying that information for you. When listening to a binaural piece, you always want to wear headphones. That's how you get the full experience.
By moving over to your right-hand side.
Here's a clip of binaural audio called the Virtual Barbershop.
For a second. I'll put this bag over your head. Just like that. The bag over the top of the head. And now I'll take the bag off. There we go. The only reason I did that is because all of the fancy barbershops do that. What you're listening to as I move off to your right here and very quickly wash my hands. Manuel, you can get that, please.
An idea I work with a lot in the Museum of Tomorrow is the idea of a contrapuntal soundscape.
Take a lunch break and walk
trail
this
goes
trail.
left,
And we're walking this trail together, and it came to a
One
Y.
goes up the mountain,
and he said,
one
well, I'll
goes
take
down.
the high road.
The brain trying to absorb
I get a sense
both melodies or both subjects at the same time.
The mountain.
And I took the low road,
So
and I
I
kept
go,
going,
and
and my trail
I
got smaller and smaller and smaller until my trail
Don't
disappeared.
look at what the
Hearing the joy in both of their voices brought out something interesting about both.
Probably more than a mile
Go up this
apart.
mountain.
And his trail kept going, and his trail...
That's about it for this week's episode. We'll listen to selections from the track in just a moment, but before we do that, thank you for listening to How I Make Music. We've been listening to music featured in the audio drama Museum at Tomorrow. To hear the full story or to check out my other compositions, follow the links in the show notes. Visit howimakemusic.com for bonus behind-the-scenes stuff related to this episode. How I Make Music is created by John Bartman. For audio experiences that keep people listening, contact John Bartman via the show notes. My name is Jeffrey Nils Gardner, and thanks for listening to How I Make Music.
strings that play under the melody.
Post-rock and historical audio drama.
In this place, once known as Hartford, Connecticut, the wind doesn't howl. It screams. That screaming wind careens maliciously across the vast tundra until it breaks against the side of a monolithic structure. The HartLife Tower, former home of the HartLife Insurance Company. Dear listener, these are the true dramatizations of our fair city's glorious history. You will meet the brave bureaucrats that keep us safe and orderly.
Sorry for the confusion. MURDER is actually an acronym for our department. An unfortunate coincidence.
The abominable mole people who dig the tunnels that keep us warm.
They don't exist. There's no such thing as ant people. Mole people.
And the most dangerous villains of all. Scientists.
I swear, I'd forget my head if it wasn't sewn on.
To say nothing of lightning riggers, time travelers, and simple interns. Every policy has a story to tell. Join us, dear listener, for the tale of our fair city, wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, you owe everything to HartLife. All the life you'll ever need.